Good morning, students. In the last class, we started with the chapter that is human reproduction, and we studied about male reproductive system. Now, today we will continue with that. Okay, so let's start our today's class. Now, first of all, let's recap what we have studied in a previous class. We studied that male reproductive system consists of a primary sex organ, accessory glands, and accessory ducts. In there, we studied that primary sex organ is suspended in a scrotum, that is a pair of testes, and they were suspended in the scrotal sac by spermatic cord. Then there were protective covering, those were tunica vaginalis, tunica albuginea, and tunica vasculosa. Now, these coverings, all these three coverings, the tunica albuginea was the major covering of the testis. Okay, so in growth of this tunica albuginea is called septa, and this divides the testis into some 200 to 300 lobules, and each testicular lobule contain 1 to 3 highly convoluted seminiferous tubules. This one. Now these seminiferous tubules then join to form short and straight tubuli recti, which form a network of a tubular structure called retitestis, which again join to form vasa efferentia, okay, which pierces from the tunica albuginea and then it enters the head of the epididymis. From this one epididymis, this structure means this vas deferens is the continuation of this cauda epididymis. Somewhere it is slightly coiled at the first time and then it becomes straight, and then it enters the abdominal cavity through the inguinal canal. Here it passes through the urinary bladder, curves round the ureter and joins the duct of the seminal vesicle to form ejaculatory duct. So we saw all this. Then we studied about the paired seminal vesicle, one prostate gland and paired bulbourethral gland. Okay. Now today we will be starting with the seminiferous tubule. Now functional unit of testis is seminiferous tubule, means the testicular lobules, the compartment of the testicular lobules, then each lobule has 1 to 3 convoluted seminiferous tubule. Now this seminiferous tubule is lined by here, this one, germinal epithelium. Okay, now majority of this germinal epithelium are cuboidal spermatogenic cells. Okay, so we can say the germinal epithelium cells, which are also called primary germ cells, lines the tubules. Okay, and these are diploid in nature, and then they goes under a number of stages to give rise to haploid spermatids. Okay, and then these Sertoli cells, this one, the elongated one, are large elongated supporting cells present in between the strands of the developing cells. So they project into the lumen and provide nourishment to the developing sperm, and after the spermatid get embedded in the Sertoli cell and get transformed into sperm. Okay, now region outside the seminiferous tubule are called interstitial spaces that contain small blood vessels and interstitial cells or leading cells. Here you can see these are the spaces where the leading cells are present and they secrete androgen, that is the male sex hormone testosterone. Okay, so we saw that germinal epithelium has two type of cells. Okay, they are lined by two types of cell. One is the male germ cell, that is the spermatogonia, which help in the formation of the sperm. That is the primary germ cell in the epithelium of seminiferous tubule. They undergo division to form 4 to 8 layers of spermatogenic cells, and then these spermatogenic cells divide meiotically to form spermatids which mature into spermatozoa, and then the supporting cells These supporting cells give nourishment and help in the differentiation of the cell undergoing spermatogenesis. That's why Sertoli cells are also known as nurse cells. Now, function of Sertoli cell is very important. Okay, here we can see it provides mechanical support, nourishment to the spermatogenic cells, okay, and form blood testis barrier. Blood testis barrier means it prevents the passage of the cytotoxic agent, that is the bodies which are toxic to cell, into seminiferous tubule. Okay, then it secretes androgen binding protein. Now this androgen binding protein concentrates in seminiferous tubules and play a role in the spermatogenesis. Then it synthesizes anti-Mullerian hormone, that means it inhibit, or we can say it prevent the development of the oviduct in the males, because this Mullerian duct are the pair duct of the embryo, and these hormone help in the development of the fallopian tube, uterus, cervix in the female. Okay, then they do phagocytosis of residual body and degenerating spermatogenic cells. Next, now gametogenesis. Gametogenesis is a process by which the formation of the gametes takes place. Okay, so we will be only studying here the process of the spermatogenesis. Okay, so though the type and the phases of the gametogenesis, the basic similar process are the same, little bit there are difference. Okay, both these phases involves three most important phases, that is the multiplication, growth and the maturation. Now in the spermatogenesis, we will be dealing this eugenesis in the next class. Spermatogenesis, it is a continuous process. Okay, so it means formation of the sperm, and it is divided into two stages. First is the formation of the spermatid. That means it has three phases. Multiplication phase, where the germ cell of the gonads multiply by mitosis. Then the growth phase, where the germ cell grow in size. And then there is maturation phase, where meiosis will take place to produce the gametes. And then there is spermiogenesis, that means formation of the spermatozoa from the spermatid. Now here you can see spermatogonia is undergoing mitosis. That means whatever the spermatogonia present on the inside wall of the seminiferous tubule, they multiply by mitotic division and forms this one, primary spermatocytes. Okay, now this primary spermatocytes is diploid in nature. Okay, and then it again undergo first meiotic division, okay, to form two equal haploid cells. Okay, that is secondary spermatocyte. Now the secondary spermatocytes again undergo second meiotic division and form spermatid. So formation of the spermatid includes all these three, and somewhere growth phase is known as spermatocytogenesis. Okay, and maturation phase is also known as meiotic phase. Now spermiogenesis, that is the transformation of the spermatid into sperm, is termed as spermiogenesis. Okay, now we will see how. Now here you can see this is the multiplication phase. That means the germinal epithelium or the primary germ cell of the seminiferous tubule is also called spermatogonium cells. These are small. They undergo repeated mitotic division, okay, to form number of spermatogonia. Now number of spermatogonia, there are two types. Type A, they continue as the stem cells, that means the precursor of the other spermatogonia. And the type B, then they undergo the spermatogenesis and differentiate to form sperm cells. Okay, now the growth phase. Now spermatogonia grow and increase in size and form primary spermatocytes. Okay, they accumulate the nourishing material from the germinal cell, and they almost become double in volume and is called then primary spermatocytes. Okay, so this is the initiation of the meiosis. Okay, and here the growth, the primary spermatocyte is large, diploid, that means it contains 46 chromosome. Okay, and basically this phase is only known as spermatocytogenesis because it gives rise to spermatocytes. Now next, after this, each spermatocyte which is diploid undergo the first meiotic division, okay, here, to give rise to haploid secondary spermatocytes. Now these turn undergo a quick meiotic division, that is equational division, to produce 4 equal haploid spermatid, and each spermatid have 23 chromosome. Now these spermatid are unspecialized cell and they do not go any further division. Okay, so all these 4 spermatid, though have separate nuclear matter, still remain connected by the cytoplasm. Okay, so they separate only during the spermiogenesis. Now spermiogenesis, now here you can see this is the formation of the spermatid, and next is the spermiogenesis. Okay, that is the transformation of the spermatid into spermatozoa. Okay, and it involves the movement of the cell organelles to position characteristic of the mature spermatozoa, where there is present certain changes in the cell organelles, loss of Golgi apparatus, then cytoplasm and water. Okay, so all these is occurring here, and this process is known as spermiogenesis. Now in this, here you can see how the Sertoli cell and the stages of spermiogenesis are going, spermatid undergoing spermiogenesis. Okay, the spermatid gets embedded here, embedded in the Sertoli cell, which provides protection, support and nourishment. Now the spermatid is transformed into sperm by losing a great deal of cytoplasm, condensation of nucleus into a head, and by formation of the flagellated tail. Now during the development, the flagellated tail of the sperm projects into the, here you can see, lumen, that is here. Okay, and this head, while head is embedded in the Sertoli cell. Okay, so the mature spermatozoon or the sperm finally gets detached and is released into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule by the process called spermiation. So we can say that from one diploid primary spermatocyte, 4 haploid sperms are formed. Okay, now next, now the structure of a mature sperm. Now we have seen the process, here we will be dealing with the structure of a mature sperm. Now a mature sperm cell consists of 4, that is head, neck, middle piece and tail. Now a plasma membrane envelopes the whole body of the sperm, and the sperm head contains a very little cytoplasm, a elongated haploid nucleus, and this anterior portion of the head has a cap-like structure which is called acrosome. Now this acrosome is filled with enzyme which help in the fertilization of the ovum, and these enzymes are called sperm lysine that dissolve the membrane. Okay, that dissolves the membrane enveloping the ovum and help the sperm cell to enter the ovum. Okay, and this acrosome is derived from Golgi apparatus. Okay, so we can say that this acrosome contain enzyme necessary for fertilization. Now this neck, now it has has a pair of centriole, that is the proximal, here you can see, and the distal. So the proximal plays a crucial role during the first cleavage, okay, of the fertilized ovum, and this distal one give rise to the axial filament of the long tail of the sperm. Okay, now next, middle piece. Now middle piece contains mitochondria in a spiral form and microtubules of the centriole. Okay, so a ring of the centriole is present at the junction between the middle piece and the tail piece here. Okay, so basically the function of this is not clearly understood, but we can see here the most important thing is mitochondria, which provides energy for the movement of the tail. Okay, now next is the tail piece, or we can call is that flagellum, and it consists of specific arrangement of microtubules, that is 9 plus 2, which is a typical of cilia and flagella, and it gives motility to the sperm. Okay, now next we will see hormonal control of spermatogenesis. Okay, now spermatogenesis starts at the age of puberty, that is between 13 to 16 years of age in boys, and the gonadotropin releasing GnRH, okay, that is the gonadotropin releasing hormone, is a hypothalamic hormone. So it stimulates anterior pituitary to produce two gonadotropins. One is the luteinizing hormone and the other one is the follicle stimulating hormone. Now luteinizing hormone, or the we can say ICSH, that means interstitial cell stimulating hormone. Okay, they secrete androgen like testosterone, that is essential for spermatogenesis. Now FSH stimulates Sertoli cell to facilitate sperm development or spermiogenesis. Okay, now FSH also stimulates Sertoli cells to produce a peptide hormone inhibin that specially inhibit FSH secretion. Okay, so and this rising level of the testosterone suppresses the, if this is rise, then it suppresses the gonadotropic releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. Okay, now under the control of this FSH and testosterone, Sertoli cell secretes androgen binding protein also, which gets concentrated in the seminiferous tubule. So both this testosterone and inhibin exert a negative feedback inhibition on the secretion of the LH and FSH. Okay, so we can say that FSH along with the testosterone stimulates the sperm production in the seminiferous tubules. Okay, so this all we have done with the male reproductive system, the structure and the process, the gametogenesis. Okay, so this is your homework, do it in your copy, and next we will be starting with the female reproductive system and oogenesis and the hormonal control. Okay, till then please read NCERT, do all the assignment and see video class regularly. Thank you.